to office
I
hour.
added the entire 7th grade to this open office.
Perfect. You're the best.
Even the new ones who were in orientation this week, I added them all. If you want to catch somebody for tests, whatever, catch them.
Okay. Awesome.
That
Thank
makes
you.
sense. Yeah. There you go. I keep that updated from my
You're the
end.
best.
Oh my
I'm
gosh,
just fine.
that's why. All right.
Oh, I
I
haven't
I'll
had a
seen.
open up
deep,
open office. Yeah.
I had the dumbest
You
email
see.
conversation with one of these parents yesterday. That's why I had no idea who this man was. Okay. He's been dumped in my homeroom. Because
Yeah.
he's like, I need the Zoom. And I'm like, what Zoom are you talking about? I have no idea.
Well,
So the poor guy was
yes.
trying to do some orientation stuff. Okay. All right. There we go.
All
Rooms have
right.
started. Teachers join the rooms. We let the kids in.
All right.
I don't know. Is Miss Lucio coming?
We shall just keep an eye on both the rooms in case
Okay.
students join.
Okay.
Welcome to Open Office. We are very happy to see you guys join. Remember, in this Open Office, you have access to all your teachers in this one session. Miss Paula, you're still here in the main room with us. Okay, Miss Paula went into her right room. We will have Miss Lucio for reading. Miss Matt, I'm for math. I'm going to be in the main room. We will also have our science teacher, Miss Mancy, Dr. Mancy, and the Texas history teacher, Miss Paulo. Right? If you got questions, feel free to ask them. Here's the link to my Nearpod, and I am going over quiz 1.17. We left off at question 3 yesterday, one of the very complicated questions that had double fractions, and we will pick from there. Oh, this one? No, not this one. Let's see, where is my quiz 1.17? This one. Link to the Nearpod is in the chat. People go ahead and join. This was problem 3. Did we answer this one? Let me see. Yes, we did. So, question 3. This was the first variety, and we had answered that yesterday. This is question 3, second variety. Question 3, second variety, right? Yesterday, you remember I was talking about how I will just handle the numerator part only. Then, when I get an answer, I will handle the denominator. I will only handle the top one first. So, let's look at how we will handle this one. It says 8 nines. I'm going to write down 8 nines plus a negative 5 6, right? If you add a negative number, it's also, in your mind, you're actually subtracting, right? So I've just put in that one sign, negative 5 minus 5 6. These are two fractions with different denominators. Oh, perfect. So this is serenity. I am glad to hear that. So we will go ahead and find common denominator. An easy way to find common denominator is to go out and write down multiples of the numbers and you find common denominators, right? So for example, first one is 9. We write down multiples of 9, 18, 27, 36. I stop because I know I got my common multiple here. I'm going to write down multiples of 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, and 36. That is the common multiple. 36 is that common number that both of them have, 36. Multiply the first fraction by how much? Quickly, students, tell me. You want a denominator of 36. I multiply 9 times 4 to get 36. Also multiply your numerator by 4. Then to get 36 for the second fraction, I multiply by 6. 6 times 6 gives you 36. Multiply the numerator also by 6. When you do that, then you have 8 times 4, 32 over 36 minus 6 times 5 is 30, 30 over 36. I'm gonna pause. Does that make sense how I am subtracting fractions with different denominators? Sophia, absolutely. You don't need permission. You don't need permission. You can help yourself. I will subtract. So 32 minus 30 is 2, right? 2 over 36. Now I'm going to handle my denominator, right? Let's handle the denominator. And the denominator said 1/6. There's a fraction bar and then there is a 1/6, right? Let's go ahead and handle that. So we got 2 over 36. A denominator, a 1 over 6 means, denominator means divide by 1 over 6. Like yesterday, we are very fortunate to be able to divide straight across because the numbers are very compatible, and that doesn't happen all the time. We are very fortunate to have some very compatible numbers right now. Not this one. I was trying to use this one. Okay. Look at how the numbers are compatible and you can divide. So let's see. 2 divided by 1 gives you 2. Fraction bar. 36 divided by 6 gives you 6. And then you can reduce 2 over 6 by 2 because both are even numbers. And you get an answer that is going to be 1/3. Remember, this doesn't happen all the time. In these particular questions, we are just very fortunate to divide without using KCF. Right. Kendra, you keep getting unmuted. Right? In these particular questions, we have been very fortunate enough to divide. See, 2 divided by 1 and 36 divided by 6 without actually using KCF. We've just been fortunate. It doesn't happen all the time. Then question 3 has one more variety. Let's go ahead and look at that. It is this one, right? So we have 3 over 5. We will look at the numerator first. The numerator says 3 over 5 plus a negative 1 over 4. If you're adding a negative 1 over 4, basically you are subtracting a 1 over 4, right? Think about the common denominator. When you have denominators of 5 and 4 and you write down multiples, your common denominator is going to be how much? Denominator of 5 and a denominator of 4, right? Then the common denominator turns out to be 20. 20 will be that common denominator that you can make from 5 as well as 4. Okay? And how can you create this common denominator of 20? Basically, multiply this one by 4. Right? Multiply numerator as well as denominator. And multiply 1 over 4 by Kendra. Your mic keeps unmuting. Then we can also multiply the second one by 5 and we end up getting a denominator of 20. Are there questions? Let me know. Does that make sense? Right? When we add or subtract fractions, we have to make common denominators. 3 times 4 is 12. 1 times 5 is 5. And then I can subtract. 12 over 20 minus 5 over 20 gives you 7 over 20. Then I'm going to do my denominator part. Denominator, there is a denominator of 7/10, right? This is one little part I have to handle. Denominator means to divide by 7 over 10. Again, you see, this particular quiz is using very compatible numbers. Honestly, this quiz is just using very compatible numbers. So 7 divided by 7 gives me 1. 20 divided by 10 gives you 2. 1/2. 1/2 is going to be the answer. And Rami, dear, thank you for giving me feedback. We'll go ahead and move on to the next question. You are all ready to move on to the next question? Question 4. Remember, sessions are recorded. If you want to go back and pause, you can always pause and look at my work again. I try my best to post the recording soon as possible, and I'm keep trying from my end. As the recordings are available, I can post. Now in this question, there are multiple things going on. I see parentheses, right? And I'm going to write down things in order so you know which one goes first. There's parentheses. Then you handle multiplication or division, whichever shows first. Then you handle addition or subtraction, whichever shows first, right? And in this particular one, look carefully. We have something in the parentheses that needs to be handled first. And what is inside the parentheses? There is a subtraction going on. You see here 3/4 minus 2. When I looked at the quiz, yeah, PIMDAS, you are right. Let me see who is the person. Jana, yes, this is PIMDAS, what I wrote down. You are right. In this particular question 4, they wanted answers in decimals. So I'm going to change 3/4 to a decimal. 3/4 is how much? 3/4 is going to be 0.75, right? And then minus 2. How will you subtract 0.75 and 2? You have to do 2.00 minus 0.75, just in case if you're wondering, right? This is how you are supposed to subtract. Absolutely, Edgar. You don't need permission. Go ahead, people, subtract and tell me how much. You will subtract first. Everybody, do the subtraction. Tell me how much do you get. You will get a negative number, right? Because you're subtracting more. From 0.75, you're subtracting a 2. You will end up getting a negative 1.25. Does that make sense? 0.75 is like 75 cents. And minus 2, so $2. There you go, Huya. I agree. Now, there is parentheses. Next, what do we have to do? Next comes multiplication. I have to change the color so it's more color-coded. Next is going to be multiplication. And where do I see multiplication? I see multiplication over here. This number outside the parentheses show multiplication. So I'm going to multiply. 0.2 times negative 1.25. Everybody go ahead and multiply. When you multiply, you get, what is double of 1.25? The double of not double, it is times 0.2. Yeah, 0.2 is the double, but then add another decimal. So it is going to be 0.25. Is that what you guys get when you double or when you do times 0.2? Everybody multiply and verify. I got this when I did 0.2 times 1.25. I got 0.25. That's with some mental math. Juan, where are you today? Kendra, Zion, Joycelyn, Storm, give us some kind of answer so we can always be cross-checking and draw media. So this is what I got when I multiplied these two, right? And then there is one more part. This part is about adding 0.5. That is the last step. Then when I add 0.5, okay, Sophia, you can take care of that business. Absolutely. And adding 0.5 is the same as adding 0.50. Right? And the answer you will end up getting is 0.25. Are there any questions? Why? Because look at it carefully. It is like simply like 0.50 minus 0.25. No questions. And remember, answers should be in decimals. Let's go move on to question 4, next variety. And I'm going to write down things about parentheses, PIMDAS again. It is important for us all to understand. We do parentheses first. Then if we have multiplication or division, that needs to be taken care of next. Very last, we do addition or subtraction. That is the very last thing. Look carefully in your question. You have parentheses, things in parentheses needs to be taken care of first. So how much is a quarter? A quarter is 0.25 minus 1. 0.25 minus 1 is how much? It is going to be a negative number because 1 is the same as 1.00, right? So subtract the 2, right? 0.25 minus 1 is going to be a negative 0.75. If you find any different answers and you feel like Miss Ed didn't write it right, let me know, right? These would be human errors. Then after that comes multiplication again. Where did I see the multiplication? the multiplication is happening over here. The 0.3 is going to be multiplied by whatever you get in the parentheses, right? So when I solve the parentheses part, I got negative 0.75. Oh yeah, good. I will multiply this negative 0.75 by 0.3. Multiply it and tell me how much do you get.
Miss Syed, is there a way for you to close that other reading room?
Actually, I will have to close all the rooms,
Oh,
Rochelle. But what we can do is, Miss Lucio has a lot of kids in there.
yes,
Can I
and I
put them
keep
all in
moving
your
them.
room?
I keep moving them, and they keep leaving my room and going back over there.
Okay.
They're just
I
in
will
there
close.
playing.
No. I'm going to close the rooms because it's not safe, right? I'm going to close all
Okay.
the rooms and
Thank
I will
you.
open them up again.
All right, thanks.
Dear teachers, we are all back in the main room. Actually, I had to restart the rooms. I apologize. Miss Lucia is not here, but it is just being a little bit of a challenge for us to manage that room that is by itself. So we'll close one room and I'm going to honestly really open up. It won't let me close Miss Lucia's room. Let me see, Miss Smith, if I can close your room, then you can just join Miss Lucia's room.
Okay.
It won't let me close.
Oh, no.
What is going on? I'm gonna keep trying. Let's see. It let me close your room.
Okay.
And I'm gonna write down your name for Lucio so the students know this is gonna
Okay.
be Miss Smith. Let's look at the timer and we can allow 12 minutes more. Start rooms.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, students, you can definitely go ahead and join the rooms that you want to. Miss Smith is there. Miss Lucio isn't there. So Miss Smith definitely has all the answers to your reading thing. Apart from your grades, you can go to her and she'll be able to help. So if you multiplied these two, you should end up getting 0.225. Oh yeah, I know you're working along with me. Can you verify if this is what you got? I got 0.225. And that is going to be a negative 0.225. Then I'm going to do my last step, and my last step should be to add 0.35, right? Because addition comes at the very end. Add the 0.35. When I add 0.35, my brain is thinking that there are 3 digits here, but there are not 3 digits on the other number, so I can add a 0. Okay? And basically in my mind, I'm going to subtract the 2 because the first number is a negative number. And when I did that, I get an answer that is 0.125. Is that what you guys got? This is what I got, 0.125. You guys had more time than I did to solve the question because I was trying to open up the breakout room the way the teachers wanted. So anybody, you guys can verify. When I subtracted 2, this is what I got. And the answer is positive. I'll move on to the last variety of question 4. And this is how it looks like. Again, PEMDAS properties are being used. I do see parentheses. I see multiplication and division. I also see addition and subtraction. Okay. First thing first, I'll do my parentheses inside the parentheses first. Okay, inside the parentheses first. And inside the parentheses is half. Half is the same as 0.5. And then there is a minus 2. So how much is 0.5 minus 2? It is going to be a negative number. Julia, feel free to drop the answers, dear. My eyes are also in the chat and I will check. So 0.5 minus 2 gives me a negative number and it is negative 1.5. Okay. Then I do my multiplication part. Okay, this one says 0.9 times what you get inside the parentheses. So I will multiply 0.9 times the negative 1.5. 0.9 times negative 1.5. I end up getting negative 1.35. Then I multiply the two. Then my last step is to add 0.6. Add the 0.6. So when I add 0.6, again, what my brain is going to think? My brain is thinking there are 2 decimal places here, but there was only 1, so I added another 0. And basically, in this one, because first number is negative, the second one is positive, I'm going to subtract the 2 numbers, but the sign of the negative will stay because negative number is greater. And when I did that, I got negative 0.75. Negative 0.75. Are we all in a good place? We will look at question 5. My goal is to definitely complete question 5 before the end of the session. The thing is, we have to be at a meeting with the principal at 10. I cannot stretch the session any longer. And the goal is for me to definitely complete doing the question. Here in question 5, it is multi-step. Step 1, last week, Chen bought 8.5 gallons of gas for 2.30, right? 8.5 is 8.5 gallons, right? For at $2.30 per gallon. Then this week, with a different color, he bought 4 whole 3/10 gallons for $2.70, right? 4 whole 3/10 is 4.3. 4 3/10, 3/10 is 0.3. Then what do you want to find? You want to find total, right? And how can we do that? Can you guys type in the chat? Let me know how you can find total. So last week, right? Chen bought 8.5 gallons, and the cost of each gallon is $2.30. If I multiply, I get the cost of last week. Very good, Joycelyn. Then I will add cost for this week. This week, he buys 4.3 gallons, and the price is $2.70 per gallon, right? The price of gas actually became expensive here in the question too. So when I did 8.5 times 2.3, you guys multiplied, how much you got? I got 1955. Let me know if anybody got anything else. Okay. And when I did 4.3 times 2.70, I got 11.61. Then you want to find total because that is what the question was asking. Add them up. Add them up. You get $31.16. Anybody else also worked it out? Did you guys get something similar? Work it out, people. So first find the cost for last week by multiplying 8.5 times 2.30. Find the cost of this week, multiply 4.3 times 2.7. Then add the 2. Yeah, thank you, Horia, for verifying. Let's go ahead and look at second variety. Second variety was exactly the same as the first variety, just the numbers look different. Nearpod, you don't have time to do all this. Okay, here, it is loading. So, again, a very similar question. So, June bought 3.5 gallons of white paint at $17.50 per gallon. So, 3.5 is going to be 3.5, right? Then, June also bought 1 whole 3/4 gallons of blue paint at $19 per gallon. So 1 whole 3/4 is 1.75, and you want to find total cost. See how you will set it up? It is very similar to the previous question. Isaiah, thank you so much. Your kind words mean a lot to me. Remember, these sessions are also recorded. You can always slow it down. So let's go ahead find for white paint. How do you find for white paint? Multiply 3.5 times 17.5. It's going to give you cost of white paint. Then there is also blue paint. How much is blue paint? 1.75 times $19 per gallon. Right? So you want to find total cost. First find 3.5 times 17.5. I got 61.25. Then I put a plus sign. For blue paint, I got 33.25. Then find total. Dear students, I am back. There was a little glitch in the system, and but it is working. You guys can hear me, right? You guys can hear me, right? And then I
Yes.
found perfect. We find the total 94.
Yes, we can hear you.
That is great. Perfect. Okay. We will move on to the last question in those 2 minutes because I definitely want to teach you guys how to do the last question. Last question was quite similar. Okay, Nearpod's gonna take its time too. And all these. Okay, there we go. Last question. This is question 5, last variety. So Lozi bought 1 whole 1/4 pounds of roast. So 1 whole 1/4 is 1.25. Okay, of roast, and the cost is $2 per pound. So multiplication. Then she also bought 2.5 pounds of turkey at 150. So 2.5 is 2.5, right? Pounds at $1.50. You want to find the total cost. Lozi pays. So let's see. First is going to be the roast beef. For roast beef, 1.25 pounds times $2. That is the cost. That will tell you the cost of roast beef. Then plus cost of turkey. Turkey is 2.5 pounds, right? Times $1.50. Right? So when you calculate for beef, you got $2.50. When I calculated for turkey, I got $3.75. And I would find the total by adding them up, and the total I got is 6.25. Ron, very good. You're faster than me. And this way we answered the entire quiz. In 35 seconds, the rest of the rooms will be back in the main room. Feel free to let us know if you still have questions in those 30 seconds. This is the last variety of question 5, and we completed quiz 1.17. This quiz is due today. Even if you don't complete it today, at least complete it over the weekend. I give you grace time. I don't put in zeros just today. You needed help, Jenna, on question 1 and 2. Jenna, Kendra, I'm proud of you. Jenna, question 1 and 2 is in video from yesterday's recording. Jenna, go to yesterday and go to Open Office.
No.
Students, we are all back in the main room. Thank you so much for joining. Remember, your teachers will have to be at a meeting and we cannot stretch the session any longer. But thank you so much for joining. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Deja, try again and then email me, okay?
Bye.
Bye,
I
y'all.
hope, Deja, you heard Miss Smith. Bye.